and then you can just introduce yourself and stuff, and then all right, here we are. Swamp Talk Tuesday nights. Swamp Tree Trader, Jake the Giant. Our guest is Leo Roy, Appalachian Rocks. And
Quanto at the moment.
Yes, clear the air. I have some of that in the drawer in the room.
It's good. It's good stuff. We're old friends. For anyone who's wondering, we go way back. All three of us.
Way back, like Cadillac seats.
Yes, sir. So, Sater, go ahead. Kick your shit.
All right. So, here's what we're doing here. This past weekend, we went to First City Music Festival. It was a blast. What's up, old Skeet? It was a blast. We brought the family. We went down there in a little caravan. We stopped off at Leo's house. We were actually in that room. And we stopped off there, spent the night, had a good time, caught up a little bit. And then the next day, we were caravanning down the road, man. 4 nights of music.
Straight to a beautiful festival in Indiana put on by Jeff Jeggard. Bluegrass Festival, definitely. All of us have been a thing in our lives, I think, since like our mid teens we started hearing about them, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, my first official music festival, like actually going, on my own, was when I was like, 18 or 19 out at Terrapin's Bluegrass. That's as bluegrass as it gets.
Yeah, for sure. I never made it over to the Terrapin Farm.
Yeah.
I had heard about it every year, and then I started getting in trouble every summer. So I was like locked up over the summer, and then they'd free me right out. It was like, oh, everybody like just got back. I'm like, I just got out.
Oh yeah, you hear all the cool stories, but it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
So I got to my first Terrapin when I was like 14 or 15, and man, that was it. All my friends were still like going to metal shows and raves, and like I'm hitting these bluegrass joints, and everybody's like, "You like the Grateful Dead?" And I'm like, "Doesn't it?"
Yeah. People thought it was a little off. You know what I mean? Like it's rock, but it's like Grateful Dead, like that stuff. They don't. People they don't understand the culture.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's that's why I appreciate about the Dead. For me, it's like they inspire me to keep that culture alive. You feel me? Like they inspire me to keep going, like and follow that, like, cause I'm way. I guess I found everything way later in life than y'all. You know what I mean? Y'all started out real young, and I was like, late 20s and shit before I started kicking in with y'all. Really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How old are you?
I'm 38. I'm gonna be 40 in 2 years.
You're a little older than me. I'm like 33 or 34. I forget. Damn.
Oh no, that's not the thing. I mean, like, but I had been in Owensboro since I was like 18. You know what I mean? And I guess we had just like ran in different. I never went to school there, is what it was. Like I showed up right after school, and then I met everybody I knew from working at Walmart and shit. And then through my ex-wife.
I lived in Madisonville, so I was far away. I came over, got Bread, Grateful Bread. Brad, he was the man who I ended up being in touch with, just over some smoke, not the bad kind, the good kind.
Yeah.
So we connected, and then from there, I started spending a lot of time in Owensboro, and I used to be a bad kid out in them streets, You know what it is.
Yeah, I was a bad adult. Jake used to call me a dope game baby.
Yeah, I was a bad kid and a bad adult out in the streets. I was not doing the best things. I was out there, of course smoking weed and stuff, which isn't a problem and shouldn't be a problem, but they tell you it's a problem, and then you go and try, and you're like, oh, this is great. What about everything else that they told me not to do? You know what I mean? But it's not all the same. So like you have to find out for yourself. If you're hardhead like me, I'm a tourist, however you want to pronounce it, a bull.
Yeah, man.
Second earth sign. I'm not really. I never was into that kind of stuff, but that's the categories that other people put me into.
Right. Exactly. Like I found a lot about like I grew up knowing about the sun signs and being interested in that and shit. And then I found out about moon signs and further sign all that shit's really interesting to me. It's just, I started getting all the literature like after the joint, like I'm gonna read all these books after I got out the joint, and then it's like hard to read books, man. In this day and age, it's hard to sit there and read a book.
It's hard to find time. Yeah.
I saw Pops over there reading a book. I was like lightweight envious. I was like, damn.
Oh,
just by the window and read a book for a minute.
My dad's a published author and everything. You know what I mean? So I grew up in a literary family. Yeah. So books and literature and stuff like that runs deep with me. And I know as a rapper you appreciate that, Sater. I see it in your bars. I can literally see it.
For sure, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Words are important. You know what I mean? It's how we manage to all interact with each other. Otherwise we just be like, sign language is a thing and all that. But like, language is like one of the biggest things a human needs to master in order to succeed in this world. If you want to be, no matter what you want to do with your life, if you want to be in the streets, if you want to be a CEO, if you want to be, you need to understand language. You need to be able to read and write. You need to be able to communicate with people. That's like the baseline. You could be the best ever, have the secret to the universe, but if you couldn't tell no one, what good does it do you?
Yeah, and you got to share it.
I've ate enough mushrooms though, and like experience like just speaking in grunts and like knowing exactly what everybody's saying. Like,
sometimes that works, but
it's still communication.
It's never perfect though, and even when you have words, it's never perfect. The thing is, there's always perception.
Interpretation, perception. Yep.
So everyone is gonna interpret things a little bit differently. So, we do our best though. So that's why we're up here spitting it, and just trying to give you all a little taste of what happened last weekend. Man, we got hit with a hurricane, right?
Yeah. Yeah, all Friday night the bands played on, but like me and my wife and the kids started snoozing and stuff, so we were like just kicking it in the tent, man. We were about 150 yards from the stage, maybe 100 yards from the stage, but you could hear it was perfect.
You could hear it beautiful.
And like it was beautiful. Saturday was beautiful. It was like drizzly Saturday, but I mean, my little girl like went through a whole tub of bubbles over at the Bubble Squad thing. They were blowing bubbles and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
I brought out a bunch of rubber duckies, and there's a duck on the screen right now. It says live with StreamYard. I don't know if everyone can see it, but there's like ducks on the screen. So I gave out 100 rubber duckies or 50 rubber duckies, something like that, to a bunch of kids and stuff like that. Just handing out rubber duckies at a festival in the rain. Festivals are weird like that, That's the kind of things that go on. People think you're gonna go, you're gonna sit down, you're gonna jam to this music, you're gonna, find God, you're gonna find a hot girl or whatever, but no, you end up finding a rubber duck.
And that's okay.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. There's all kinds of ways to approach it, right? Everybody comes in with their own perception. And they get to the festival, and then all those start to mix together, and then it ends up making some good soup. It's a gumbo.
Gotta have that good goulash, baby.
Oh, goulash, gumbo. Yeah. See, when you know what I'm talking about, on the same page. And it all mixes together, and a festival is if every person is an ingredient. We're all coming together to make this great dish.
And it's perfect, man. It's like the cheese to the melting pot. It's a big old people fondue.
Exactly, yeah. And each one's different. Each one's always going to be different. And that's just, and you never know how it's going to come out. You can only control what you bring into it and what you do. So you got to play off of stuff. So there's back and forth. Oh, it's raining. Are we going to hide out? Or are we going to go run around in the rain and have fun? Or,
you're going to slip and slide in a mud puddle. You never know.
Yeah. There's all kinds of options to take it, and it ended up being quite a blast. So, Sater, last year you took it to run on stage, right? Am I mistaken?
Yeah. Yep. I ran on stage. You know that track that's covering the electrical wires headed to the stage? I thought it was like a runway because everybody was like separated from it to not trip over it or whatever. But
thing that keeps
I was tripping just enough to I danced my way down it, and then they were like, I don't know. I just kind of Kevin Nashed onto the stage and what's up, girl?
So running on stage at a festival, you know, you're not the first person to do it. I actually have a friend who, back when we were going to festivals back in the day, we went to a festival called Good People Good Times up in Indiana. This was at Stable Studios. They had it at Stable Studios one time, which is not the one close to Bloomington. But anyways, that's some inside knowledge stuff. So it's a festival grounds, and my buddy brings me up there. He pays for my ticket and everything, gets me in. And this band is playing, playing on stage and stuff and everything. And he runs up on stage and pulls down his pants naked, naked with his little pee-pee hanging out, his little just for everybody to see in the middle of a set, and he starts pulling it. He starts doing the little thing with his hand. By the way, this podcast is R-rated, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure. Say what you want.
It's definitely mature. I mean,
yeah, I clicked the not for kids box.
Yeah, not for kids. Yeah, for sure. So,
stop that guy at that festival.
He was jerking up on stage, and this is the guy who brought me to the festival. You understand? He brought me there, so I'm like, the security rounds him up. They get him off stage. The band keeps playing or whatever. And he goes and he runs and jumps in a lake. Well, then they pull him out of the lake, and he's sitting there, and they're getting him together. They're trying to figure out. This guy's done on stage, ruined someone's set, got naked, basically sexually assaulted everybody by just showing his dick, or I don't know what that is. I don't know what what I mean, but like, no, not normal situation, and jerking on stage, and then he jumps in a lake, and he's soaking wet, and these security guards and stuff, and everybody's trying to talk him down, trying to get him to come back and stuff, and he goes. Falls back in the water again. I gotta drag him up out of the water.
He was living it.
That was Zach Henry. We call him Wanker after that, because the next festival I went to Terrapin, and someone saw him there and went, "Wanker! It's the Wanker!" And he never lived that down. So, it could have been worse, is what I'm saying. All you did was run on stage with love.
Yeah,
and,
they were calling me Stager after that.
Yeah. Nothing weird happened. Just Stager. Yeah, you could have been
Stager.
Wanker, bro. You could have been Wanker.
Oh, yeah. Yep. They pulled me off the stage. Fitzy's like, what? Why did you run on stage? I was like, bro, I thought we were here to party and have a good time. Like, I can't be mad at that. Like, short circuit, you know what I mean? Like, it's over. Yeah. You're right. Like, go in your tent, chill out. Like, and I was in the tent like a ping pong ball, bro. Like, ready to get back out. Like they're playing my song again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I was in it. I was all the way in it. So. Oh, yeah. I do like Armchair Boogie, too.
Yeah, Armchair
Boogie. They performed 2 nights.
Yeah, because they played with Leftover Sam. Leftover Sam said, "Armchair Boogie, why don't you come back up here and do some more for us so we can sit down and jam?" I was like, hey, Armchair Boogie, it's good shit. Yeah, so it ended up being a great festival. It was a little rainy, but I met lots of great people, and there was lots of good music. There was no real serious problems that I saw. I ran into some connections from back in the day. Jen Stanley was out there. Remember Jen? Jake? Yeah. Me and her got to see each other and like squash and have like a good, nice moment and all that, because I love Mama Said. I have an old Mama Said shirt from their like our first original run that I have tie-dyed. Bluegrass has my heart, and I don't want anybody to want to like feel uncomfortable to come out to shows and stuff like that. So, you know how it's always a little awkward with your exes or whatever. But but it wasn't at all. Wasn't awkward at all there at First City. We had a great time out there.
That's great.
Yeah, and all weekend long, Fitzy was there, Alexandria was there, George, Worm, like just good people. It was I met Omar before, but he took me under his wing this weekend. It was Bubble Gang. He was blowing bubbles for the kids, so I could give rubber duckies away and shit like that. He was blowing bubbles. I was giving away rubber duckies. You know what I mean?
That's sweet.
It's family friendly, really community type stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot of local vendors too. I met a dude. Shout out to Joey. I think it was his first time there. Man, he was out there with his family, his wife, and I think he had a couple babies out there with him. He was walking his little girl around in the wagon and stuff. But I mean, it was cool because he was from right there in Vincennes, so it was cool that local people were coming out to that too. You know what I mean? Because that helps. That really helps the vibe in the community to keep having it. You know what I mean?
For sure. That makes it just that cohesive, like
symbiotic,
man.
Yes, you want the locals and the community of the festival to be hand in hand. You want everyone together. Yeah, it wants to be a win-win. We want to bring people into your community, spend money at your gas stations and all that stuff. Everybody wins. A rising tide raises all ships. We don't we don't have to push people down to come up. We should all come up together.
That's it.
Yeah. And they should also do more about like clearing them state boys out, because that was kind of bullshit. When you're leaving, for them to be prowling, it's just bullshit, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
That's the
quid pro quo.
That's the kind of shit though that you got to deal with, man. Whenever you throw parties like that, whenever you throw festivals like that, like
and some people might have been doing some bad things. You know what I mean? So there is always that. So.
It's all that
but I didn't. But out there, I didn't see anything negative. I didn't see any negativity.
Me neither. The online security, they didn't mess with nobody. You know what I'm saying? They weren't like staring people down or following anybody. They were just doing their job and let people be. I
think we can all agree. At least my position on it is I like to throw up, two tall ones to the police pretty much at all times. They serve a purpose, man. And as long as they're not, there's. I used to stand.
I'm talking about security. Fuck the police. I'm talking about the security people, because sometimes security's on acid at events and shit.
Oh yeah, some events the security is outsourced. Like I've been to a Billy Street show before where I came in and they took my water bottle away from me.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Right? They took my water bottle away from me. I was like, they're like, yeah, you gotta buy water.
That's some Woodstock 99 shit, ain't it?
Yeah. Like water should be free. Things should things should be about the love. That's when you're not at
that's not a family event anymore, man. It's
that's not a happy venue. This venue is like First City venue is the definition of like a family, lovely community venue where you can just feel it when you walk there. It's like, oh, okay. This is, what if I leave something, it'll come back to me. If I drop something, people.
Right, you can leave the kids for a second and go do your thing. Like that was one of the most beautiful.
You can leave money sitting out for a second, and nobody's gonna, snatch it up or whatever.
Right.
There might be somebody.
It's these wallets sat on the ground all night and
kept coming back.
Yeah.
Yep, I lost a pendant. And then it got back to me. It was found.
Yeah, Shana brought it back. She saw it outside the car and just.
Yeah, it was found by somebody, and they got it just that, and then they made it all the way back to me. Just like that one time at Terrapin when I had that Mickey Mouse hat, which I remember that. In a second. Yeah, right. So I had that Mickey Mouse hat, and it was decked out in pins, and I was running all around Terrapin. All right, and then also I was like, oh, I don't have my hat. I lost my hat. You know what I mean? Like whatever. And then I come back to the tent, and under my pillow there's my hat, and my hat's got all the pins, and there's a little note. It's like, here you go, buttons. You know what I mean? Like your stuff comes back to you, and it was just love. Someone had found it, and it got passed around and made its way back home. That's when you're at a good festival. You drop something, you lose something. People take care of you. They don't want to take from you. They want they want to.
Everybody was cool with the kids. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was cool with the kids. You know what I mean? Like most of the time, it'd be like a
family.
3-month-old. It'd be like, no, but it was like, that's why I wanted to bring the kids to see what the vibe was with the kids. You know what I'm saying? To see if that would be a concurrent thing. I think what we're going to do is 1 year with, 1 year without, so we can, have our fun as adults. Because you got to keep the marriage together when you're married, man. One thing about that, I want to say, man, a bunch of the homies are starting to get married. That shit's crazy, man. Isn't that crazy? Like that the homies are like settling down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a crazy thing. But that's good. That's family. You know what I mean? Like it's supposed to be passing on to the next generation type thing.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's why I loved about it. It was like, I felt so much more comfortable after that. You feel me? Like,
yeah. 1 second, I'm gonna grab my Mickey Mouse hat. Y'all kick it real quick.
Oh, for sure. Hit us with a joke, Jake. You got one?
Yeah, man. You know I got one. So, why can't your nose be 12 inches long?
Why?
Because then it would be a foot.
Hey, why do cows wear bells?
But this is the hat.
Because their horns don't work. Yeah, I heard that at the.
And this hat was found by Kenny at somebody's house. He was cleaning out some old house, and he found this, and it was dirty, it was like in the dirt, like. And he said, "Here you go, Leo. This is yours," like as a joke. And I took it, and figured it out, and I wore this hat for years. Like people could recognize me by it, but my head's too big now with all the dreads and whatnot. But I still have the hat and I still have the memories,
Yeah, I owe Skeet another one. I owe all the loyal listeners another joke. So, why did I think I already hit that one? I hit that one.
What's going
Why
on here?
don't oysters share their pearls?
Why do what? Oysters share their
Why
pearls?
don't oysters share their pearls?
I don't know. Why not?
Because they're too shellfish.
Yeah, got hit him with the pun. Where's a bell at when you need one? Ding,
ding, ding. Yeah, I need to get some sound effects going on this thing or something. I think when you upgrade it, it comes with you can throw in sound options or throw little video clips.
Yeah, soundboards and stuff eventually.
Our homie,
real bells to ding, ding, ding.
Our friend of the show, King Kush, got a question for you, Leo.
Yeah,
all right.
Let's see.
He said, "How did you start here?"
I just let him go, bro. Honestly, I just I would just sleep in the bed and my hair would start to get matted. I wouldn't comb it out. Don't comb it. And they just started to form, into different pieces. And then eventually, you start getting all right, these ones over here are starting to form together. I would do some like this, like some hand rolling and then some back, back scraping like that. But that's about it. Other than that, just time and just wait and I take care of them. Don't cut them.
That's the trick.
The number one thing is don't cut them.
Yeah, I should have never cut my hair after prison, but I wanted to start it over because I could still smell steak soap in it. My
first set of dreads, when I got out, I cut them because I got cobweb mold in my dreads, so I had to.
I seen some green dreads and shit before.
Hey, so what do they got to do to hop on here on the live?
What do you mean?
I got people texting me that want to be and that want to view the live, but they don't know how to get. They just go to it on YouTube, right?
Yeah, go under my YouTube.
Yeah.
Just type in Swamptalk Tuesday nights and it'll pop up, or the Swamp Tree Seder YouTube.
Yeah, let me find my phone real quick. How long do you guys have today?
We do an hour, so we got about 35 more minutes.
Man,
plenty of time for you to show us stuff, and I definitely TNT Dad. He's a reactor that I talked to. I actually did a like a 4.5 hour. Ski said share the link, but I did a 4.5 hour interview with TNT Dad, and his wife was asking earlier about seeing some rocks, some crystals, and stuff like that. I told her we'd definitely get to that.
All right, so this is right here is a coral agate, right? You can see down here. This is how the corals grow. Let's see. Yep, right there. You see the colony there? It's a little blurry, I'm sure, because it's a webcam, but you can see the kind of like a beehive, right? So that's a coral colony, and then boom, turned into a fossil. This is an agatized, which means that it's filled up with quartz. Agate is chalcedony, and chalcedony, quartz, they're all microsilicas. Just think of them as just different forms of silicates, different glasses. So there's one piece right there. I've been in love with rocks since I was a little kid. All kinds of different rocks. I go find them myself. So here's another fossil. If you can see there, this is another coral fossil. These are all corals that would have been around the edge. So that's one kind of thing is, organic. Where'd everyone else go? It's just me now.
I was zooming it in. I was trying to zoom it in.
Well,
yeah, I finally figured it out. I was like, do I press this one? I figured it out, though.
Now, for the last fossil we got here, this
sweet
is an ammonite.
Big old ammonite.
An ammonite would have a mouth coming out like this, right? Like a squid. It would have little eaters right here. It would have a little beak, and it would be able to move its way around the seafloor like this with little tentacles. And then when it found something to eat, like this beer right here, it would swallow it up.
Beer.
and the hard shell protects it. Obviously. No, over time, the animal died, the shell fell to the bottom, and then I ended up with this, which this is a museum grade ammonite.
Yeah, I saw it in person. It's amazing.
Yeah. It has flash and ammonescence, pearlescence and ammonescence. It's I've never seen another like it. It's about 2.5 kilograms. I paid like $60 for it, and it's worth anywhere from $250 to maybe $1,000. I don't know, depending on the collector. So there's some rocks. So if we want to transition into some business stuff, I do own businesses. Like I was a dumbass when I was a kid. I came up as a hustler, trying to make money selling weed or whatever the fucking stupid shit I was doing back then, all those drug dealing bullshit. But there's 1,000 ways to make legit money, and it's way better. If you want to use drugs, fine. You know what I mean? Use drugs, have a good time. But let me tell you, there's way, way, way better ways to make money. If we're talking about making money, then
if you don't have a criminal record, you're literally better off robbing banks than you are selling drugs.
Oh, fuck all that. You're better off coming up with an idea and starting a business.
That's it.
That's what I'm talking about.
It does take a little bit of investment money. You know what I mean? So they always do the paper clips. You have to have a little something to start out. And the more you have to start out, the easier it is. That's why all these people with rich parents and stuff, they just, can automatically, have businesses and all that.
Shit.
Hey, when you have a bunch of shit, it's easier. It came up from a paper clip.
Came all the way up from a bunch of paper clips.
Back in the day, I used to hang in this trap house, right? And everyone would go in there. They'd weigh out their tree and stuff. You drop them little crumbs. There'd be that little nug on the floor. At the end of the day, I would go and gather all them little nuggets up, and I would get a nickel or I would get a dime bag worth. of just nugs from where all the dealers would come through and trapped and like dropped little bits. And I would take that and I would go, you know what I mean? So I'd sell it for $5 and I had my $5 blunt. Like, like I've been on the very edges of being able to survive and had to learn business through like, you know,
Struggle.
yeah, through absolute necessity, not having
Yeah.
nothing to rely on, being out on the streets, not being estranged from my parents and um being homeless, sleeping on people's couches, and just I ran away from home when I was 15. I just left. I quit school. I said I'm gone. Try and find me. Ha! And I went from that and all trying to do that for a while, trying to be a drug dealer. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And then I realized, man, all these motherfuckers out here, all these businesses, all these companies, all this stuff, like, it's just the same shit. It's just the same shit. They're just doing it in a different field. Like,
yeah. The hustle is the hustle.
Exactly. Yeah.
Man.
Business is business. Every business is different, but business is business. There is no, so
whether you're grinding hat pins, whether you're grinding bags of pot, whether you're flipping houses, the grind is the grind at the end of the day, man. If you got that mentality, man.
Some people inherit it, but I did not inherit my money. Both of my parents are teachers, like we came from very much the swamp. When I was a little kid, we used to live in a cabin with no running water. There was a water heater, but when I say a water heater, I mean they took a water heater, set it outside, lit a fire underneath it, to heat the water up, and that's what we took our baths in.
Yeah.
That was my baby experience. I've seen the shack where I lived growing up. It was poverty, and my parents took that and they turned it into a nice house, and and whatnot, and you can too. There's a way out.
Right.
You see people, you see all these kids at festivals just like I don't know if they think it's cool to just fuck off or whatever, because I know I did back in the day, but like you really should be a part of all the communities you can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just this fucking festival community, not just this street community, like go be part of the real community too. Go, go down to your local gas stations, go meet your people, go to your grocery stores, go, become part of your communities. Everybody's equal, everybody matters, and and somebody who can connect people from different estranged communities is a valuable asset.
For sure.
People want that person, know, and so you're able to interchange stuff between people for the different communities, and that's really what being a businessman is. At the end of the day, you're doing a service for humanity.
Relationships with people is an asset, just like anything else. Like whenever you look at it from a raw business standpoint, like having a good relationship with this demographic or this demographic, that is just another tool, another commodity. Like whenever you look at it from a really, really sterile point of view, cut all everything else away from it, and that's an asset. You know what I mean? So
absolutely, yeah. And is every career needs, just like everyone needs to read and write, everyone needs to communicate. Those are the basic things that net us together. So networking is super important. That's one thing. That's one step for entrepreneuring. The other thing is you can't do it all on your own. Like, don't think you're going to just create it yourself. Follow the blueprint. Look it up. People will help you. Ask for help. People have laid this shit out. Well, I wanted to do everything my own. I wanted to do it all my own way. I wanted to be like, I did it myself. But that's just being prideful, and it's a sin. It's silly. It's honestly silly.
That's kind of the point of this podcast, bro.
Let people lift you up. Let people show you how the game goes so that you can do better than they did, because they probably struggled, and they may have the ability to show you how to do it easier. And
As
I'm
soon
not
as
going to
somebody
tell you you're
sees
going
that
to
you're
make $1
putting the
million.
work in, they're going to come to your aid, man. As soon as somebody sees that you're working for yourself, nobody wants to help somebody that's not going to do something to help themselves. But as soon as you start helping yourself, people come out of the woodworks to aid you because you got that upward trajectory we talked about earlier. If you got that upward trajectory, you're going to be an asset to any group, you know?
Well, yeah, there's the pillar of the self and the pillar of the community. You know what I'm saying? And that like holds up the whole structure in a person's life. Like, here's the things that you could do for yourself and nobody else can do for you. Here's your community you are part of. So you make this the best you can to make this better, and you make this the best you can to make this better, if that makes sense. So you're like, it just feeds all in together. If you're doing the best you can, your other people in your community are going to see that.
Raises all ships. Let's go. Now you see all these rocks in the background, right?
Yes.
Right. So there's a man in India who does not know me in real life. He's never met me. We've only ever talked online, video chat or whatever. He's the son of a big business family. He's 29 years old, and he has sent me $50,000 worth of gemstones on front. $50,000 worth of gemstones. Some of the top high-end opals, some of the nicest, cleanest, biggest, just crazy opals that that you can get. Just the stuff that everybody wants. It's going to be hard to get it to show on camera here. Let me see if I can find a flashlight or something. But I'm not sure if I'll be able to get the opals to show up.
I think you back up a little bit. There it is, maybe.
Yeah, but it's so hard to get the.
Oh yeah, here. Let me see if I can pop it. Wow. Yeah. It doesn't do it justice at all.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be hard to. It's gonna be hard to get the opals to show on this, but I promise you, you can check my profile or you can go to my website or anything. So he sent me these, top quality opals, all on front, all on trust, all trust in the fact that I am going to pay him back. I could not pay him back and burn him and just walk and keep all of this to myself if I wanted to, but what good would that do? You know what I mean? I want to build something with this guy. He's trusting me. I want to build a business, a future. So that's putting people on, that's he's the plug. He's putting me on for these gemstones, and he's giving me an opportunity to go out and sell for him and provide for my family, provide for the next man. He's treating me like family. So like you might get an opportunity like that, but in order to get it, it took years. It took a decade of hustling and struggling and consistently just doing everything I can, just selling rocks, paying out of pocket with my own money for like a kilo of labradorite, and then selling it, get it for $1.61 a piece, selling them for $2 a piece. Just little stuff like that to make it work. And there's anything you see out there in the world, like if it moves around, if it's like people make money on it, don't be scared to ask your worth. Don't be scared to ask your worth, but work hard and hustle and know your worth.
Absolutely.
Now, I got a little story. So I broke up with my girl, right? Or she broke up with me, however we wanted it. And she ripped off my gold chain whenever we were breaking up. So my gold chain, I'm like, fuck, man. Well, it keeps falling off. You're not Satyr. Satyr put it on my neck, right? You put it back on my neck and it fell off.
Yes. It fell off. I found it down by the fridge downstairs. I'm like, oh, set it on the counter. I was like, dang.
Right. So like it's just a little gold chain. And I'm like, well, I don't want to take this with me, so I leave it. So today I went to go pawn that gold chain, and while I was out there, I had my gold a gold bracelet on as well, and it got snagged on something and pulled, and the same thing happened where the clasp peeled open. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just go turn these in because gold holds value. Gold is an investment that holds its value. You know what I mean? So whatever I spend on this gold, I'm going to get pretty close to that back out if I go sell it. So I went to the pawn shop, right? I roll up to a pawn shop. Let's leave 50 in the car. I go inside, and they take the bracelet. They're like, okay, it's real. And then they take the big chain and they put a little magnet to it, and the chain moves just a little bit to the magnet, and they say, okay, this is fake. Well, they think the magnet test is 100%. They're wrong. I let them file into it and then put acid on it, right? So because you can use an acid test to tell if gold is real as well. So the acid shows that there's just that it's under 12 karat. I said, yes, it's 10 karat. It's under 12 karat. They put the so now they filed into my gold chain. Like it's gonna be scrap anyways. I'm not trying to sell it as a wearable chain. It's not worth it to deal with the bindings and stuff. So I'm just gonna put it back into scrap, put it back into gold. So the pawn shop, they say, this is fake. I say, oh, well, let me call my supplier. I call my supplier. You know what my supplier says? I'll buy it back right now. What you're testing is 10 karat. Of course it's an alloy. It's 10 karat. You know what that means, right? That means it's under 50% gold, which means there's other things in it. It's not pure gold. It's 24 karat gold is pure gold, and 24 karat gold, of course, is not magnetic. But 10 karat gold can be slightly, very, very, very slightly magnetic. So why don't you file into the core of it and do the acid test on a blank stone like a standard practice? But they refused to do it. They said my gold was fake. They'd buy the bracelet, but they wouldn't buy the chain, right? I'm like, dude, I don't want to blow up. I told the guy who sold the gold to me, I was like, I don't want to blow up your name. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think this is fake gold. So I went around the corner to a jeweler, a proper jeweler who does nothing but jewelry for a living. I handed him the gold chain and the gold bracelet, immediately verified them as real. No problem. You know what I mean? He didn't do the magnet test. His methods were wrong. The guy at the pawn shop was doing a magnet test and stuff. The guy the jeweler immediately was able to, he did a rub test, he did a file test, and he saw that, okay, the inside's an alloy, but there's 10% gold in here. And then and he gave me a cash for it, and he gave me the receipt. So now I've got a receipt that says this gold chain and gold bracelet that I had were both real. They're worth this much money. I sold them to this jeweler. I have my receipt. So I go back to the pawn shop, right? And I go to show this guy. I want to help him. I want to be like, look, in the future, this way, you can test it this way, and that way you'll be able to make more sales. You'll be able to catch these sales because, like, you could have made this, sale from me, but you told me it was fake, and it wasn't. I went to the jeweler and proved it wasn't. He said, no, it was magnetic. It's fake. And I said, look, man, you can Google, you can see. And he said, well, Google isn't always right. Well, no, Google isn't always right. But, the truth is the truth. And there's processes to things to figure out, what's real, what's not real, what's genuine, what's not. And obviously, this man over here who does nothing. He's a jeweler. He does nothing but look at gold and jewelry all day. That's his thing. He bought my stuff without asking. He didn't blink. He knew exactly what it was. He knew exactly it was real. You know what I mean? So I tried to teach him how to make more money, and he refused. He was mad. He thought he knew the proper way. He thought he knew because gold's not magnetic. He heard that little tiny bit. Gold's not magnetic. Well, yeah, 24 karat gold isn't, but 24 karat gold is so soft that it bends super easy. I wore 10 karat gold and that bitch just pulled on and it bent. You know what I mean? So if it was 24 karat gold, it would just, it would be coming off all the time. Nobody wants 24 karat gold. It's useless. Yeah. It's so soft. You have to have some stuff mixed in, and some of that stuff can sometimes be magnetic. So this guy thought he had a foolproof process for years. He's been turning people away with real gold and telling them they have fake gold. The only pawn shop in my town. Like, so many people have probably come in with chains and they're just a little bit of magnetic because it's 10 karat or 12 karat or whatever. And he's going to tell them that they have fake gold and he won't buy it. And
sounds like you need to open up a pawn shop, bro.
They might have thrown it away. They might have gone home and thrown that gold away because of that, man. And I come in, I tried and showed him. I didn't I made the money. I already got my money from down the street. You know what I mean? I just came back to be like, hey, let me show you how to do this So the magnetic test doesn't work. What you need to do is you need to do a file test first if you want to get to the center of it, so that, you know what I mean, and then do an acid test on a stone so that you can see what carat it is. And if it's 18 karat and it's magnetic, well then yeah, you got a problem, you know. If it's 10 karat and it's magnetic, well that's a whole different thing. But he didn't want to hear any of it. He didn't want to learn. He didn't want to expand his opportunities. And he's just happy sending people away, you know.
That's crazy, man.
He would have been happy taking the one shitty bracelet, selling, you know, and like, bro, why don't people want? It's like their ego is so strong. They believe so much in what they think they know. They think they know for sure, and they refuse to look at the reality of the situation in front of them.
Open-mindedness is a thing that, you know, a lot of people these days like to tout that they're open-minded, but they're really only open-minded to their already preconceived notion. You know what I mean? So me, and I'm guilty of that in the past.
Oh, right. We all have
to run around being like, I'm the only open-minded motherfucker alive. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But really, like, at the end of the day, like, it wasn't until I realized my way of doing things was what was landing me in prison, what was getting me strung out, and all this other shit. Like, when I realized that my way of thinking was the issue, that's whenever I was like, oh, shit. And I started being open to suggestions. I put that ego aside, and now I have an office.
Yeah, I started thinking about, like, what can I do? And like, if I just live my life doing shit that I would never be ashamed of doing in front of my kids, then I'll be all right, because I'm not doing whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? I'm focusing on doing what it takes to provide the future for them, you know what I mean? And making the sacrifice in my own perception of I'm the only motherfucker here, because I had that for a while, because really from like trauma in the past and being homeless and shit like that, it turns around to like, well, I got to do for me because nobody's helping me out. But it's like when you're fucking poisonous, you can't expect everybody to be like, oh, let me pick up this fucking poisonous motherfucker right here and bring him into my house. Like, you don't bring a man that's on fire into your home. You know what I'm saying? Right. You at least put him out first. You know what I mean? But if he's on fire and you go to put him out and he's like, nah, motherfucker, like douses more gas onto himself. You see what I'm saying? Because, exactly. I mean, like, that was me, and that's, like, my little brother right now. You know what I mean? And I see my family's perspective and perception, like y'all are saying, like, you know, and he was always fucking up. His whole life, he was always fucking up. It started with juvie when he was real young. So when I fucked up when I was in, you know, late 20s, early 30s, it was like, now you too? Well, I hope you figure it out. But because all the help already went to him, and they're like, no, I'm not investing again because that shit don't work. So I knew right then, oh shit, I'm on my own again. But that's when I realized I wasn't on my own because of certain people in my life that just kept showing up time after time after time. And when I hit them up, they were like, yes, dog, come through. You know what I mean? Like every time. Like not maybe, or I'll see you about later on. And you know what I'm saying? It was like every time. And
what
like,
you need? But,
yeah, exactly.
I'll be back.
But see, for me, that's how I felt, and it really took prison to free my mental state to where I was like, oh, I'm no good for nobody. You know what I'm saying? I was in a real low spot because I'm like, I'm fucking my life up. What am I going to do from prison? You know what I'm saying? And then I kind of started talking to some people. I met a bunch of dope people in there. You know what I mean? That like, you know, there's some straight scumbags in there. I mean, it's prison, but at the same time, there is like golden people that you would not ever find because they're doing life. You know what I'm saying? They're doing 100%. Life. So you would never find these gems of human beings because they got drunk and killed somebody when they was 18. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in my hand is uranium glass.
Sweet.
That's got a glow to it.
Yeah. So let me go turn the light off real quick.
Hell yeah. But yeah, like continuing what I was saying, you know, you get out from that, The people that are there for you are there for you, and sometimes it takes a little time. Sometimes they got to make sure you're not still fucking smoldering and might catch again. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's the big thing too, and it's so hard because it takes a long time sometimes, especially with children.
So this is
That's
uranium glass.
Here, let me put this up here, Leo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. So this glass is actually rich in uranium. So whenever the UV hits it, it has a radioactive glow to it. This glass is beautiful, right? It's a beautiful, wonderful, it has an amazing quality to it that it can glow like that. Similar to this fluorite, which can also glow as well. This is
I was up there. The whole floor is covered in those.
Fluorite. So, something can glow, but this uranium, if there's too much of it, it'll kill you. It'll be toxic. Right. You know what I mean? It can be destructive. Like even just one little tiny piece of it, if it was super pure, then it could be really toxic. So I think community-wise, you have to watch out for that too. It's like something will be good to an extent, you know what I mean? Like a little bit of craziness, a little bit of chaos, all of that kind of stuff is like, it's good to an extent. It's good to push the boundaries a little bit. But if you get to too much, then you start to talk about something that becomes dangerous and it starts to hurt other people and it starts to do negativity. It starts to, so festivals have this, they can be this great thing, but you have to be sure that you don't let it get too out of control. You want it to glow, you want it to shine bright from the inside and burn beautiful, but you also don't want people to get hurt in the process.
All that glitters is not safe uranium glass,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
exactly. Fires are awesome. They sustain life. They keep us warm in the winter. They give us lights to see by. But too much fire is a wildfire. It burns up everything in its path, right? So like that, and there's a million things you can do that analogy with. But I think the underlying thing there is like whatever you're going to do, man, there's things that are excellent and great and they build community and they're full of love, but too much of anything really is a bad thing, man. You got to moderate. And, some people with certain things can't moderate, like that's
where you need community to step in and push back whenever someone starts to go too crazy, but not just slam your face on the ground like the police want to do and ruin your life, but just push back against you. If everyone's just gently pushing back, then it's fine, but if you're running towards something and instead of fucking, putting the trampoline up, they put the brick wall up because they say, well, no, you're making a dumb decision, fuck you, that then you end up fucking getting fucked up, and then that anything good you were bringing all falls apart, and then it's so hard to come back from it. It ends up becoming a negative cycle, you know what I mean? And the negativity just so one little bad thing can, it's like the rotten apple thing, it can spread and the butterfly effect out, and one good thing as well. So it takes a whole community really being on top of things. People got to pay attention to each other. They got to communicate. They got to use those words. They got to interact.
Communication.
You want to go meet. You want to go say hi. Everyone who's coming in, you want to go. I don't care if they're a frat boy, a family, a kid, a square, a cop, a security, the medic, a vendor, an artist. Everyone should want to get to know each other and be able to, try and keep each other within the rails, so you don't run on stage, but you go right up to the edge of that,
It goes back to like interacting with people is like those relationships that we form with everybody is just another asset at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they definitely can be an asset. Relationships are an asset, but they can also
you gotta nurture it. You gotta take care of it. You gotta build.
Also be a detriment. They can also be a detriment. You know what I mean? So life is complicated for sure. You know, you have to watch your community closely, because a community can drag you down. Like whole countries, end up going one direction and end up making a bunch of dumb rules and messing themselves up, and then and a small community like a festival can do the same thing. They can either make great decisions or terrible decisions. They can do great things or terrible things. One good thing is that we got free will, so. Love, peace,
exactly, and gun rights. Well, I don't have gun rights, but I got gun rights to my right, right to my left. I guess.
No comment.
Because I mean, I got a brother-in-law, and he hunts way more than seasons. I'll put it that way. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't like.
Let's see, we're on the sticks, bro. Everybody out here has guns all the time.
I mean,
except for me, I'm just like,
I've
taking guns. I don't know, Krav Maga.
Yeah, toting guns, man. I've been there, and really, like,
I don't want to. Really,
I'm happy to live a life today where I don't have to carry a gun. Like I don't put myself in gun situations anymore.
Yeah, I'm not really into gun situations either, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people are so paranoid, though. They think, like, oh, someone out in the street's going to come. You know what I mean? Like, just some random.
Bro, I ran the streets for years. I never held a weapon. I never held a weapon. I'd have knives in my backpack and shit, but they were like for scraping weed bowls and fucking
knives and stuff,
poking out holes and shit to make smoking apparatus
and battle axes, all that stuff I love. But that's just because I think it's fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guns. I like. I never did. I don't carry them around. I'm not the kind of person who wants to have a gun on me at all times, partially because I've been suicidal in the past, So
exactly.
that would have made it real easy for me to kill myself.
Yeah. I think I can speak for everybody whenever I say that the world's a better place with Leo in it, man. So
sure. I almost wasn't at one point.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I tried real hard to kill myself. Trust me, I did. I drank a fifth, another fifth. I did about 1,000 milligrams of liquid Xanax. I ate about 1.5 grams of Molly. I threw myself downstairs out a window. I don't even remember what all. Like, I mean, I did everything I could. I was deep into the drug stuff, and I did it all at once, and I still didn't die. I still didn't die. I made a fool of myself, and it's the lowest moment of my life and the most embarrassing moment of my life and everything. But I didn't die from it, and I'm very grateful for that. So,
been there.
Same here, man. Like you were saying, slam down in the street, bro. Like when I ran out that sheriff's office, they literally slammed me in the street. Like you were saying, that is not community. That is not like love at all. You know what I mean? Like,
Jake, in Hopco, did you scratch Jake the Giant on one of the plexiglass cells?
Yes.
Okay, so I was in solitary in that cell, losing my mind. And the only thing that kept my head straight is I'd look up and I would see Jake the Giant scratched there. Bro, you saved my sanity on folk, on everything, man, on everything I love. I was sitting there losing my mind, man. I didn't know who I was or what was going on. I was delusional, crazy, solitary, totally losing it. I look up and I see Jake the Giant there scratched on that glass and on that plexiglass, and I go, okay. All right, I know Jake. I know what that is. I know who he is. Right, okay. Yeah, wait, no, he's been here. We did this, and I would start pulling me out. It would start pulling me out, and I'd be able to start putting stuff back together. So, man, I gotta thank you for that, bro. You don't know. You got in trouble, and it was probably a terrible time for you, but it ended up probably keeping me sane instead of like going all the way insane out of that situation.
Man, I love that. I'm glad, man. I put my name in a lot of fucking jail cells and a lot of fucking prison cells and rehabs. I tag my shit, bar bathrooms and shit like that. And And like, I'll throw JTGs all over people's ceiling and inside their closet and all that. But man, that's the first one that's ever got back. That's the second one that's ever got back to me. I got banned from the Lure for tagging Jake the Giant in their bathroom, and then that's the second one right there that's ever got back.
Well, this one got back to you in the best way possible. Believe me, it was a blessing. I couldn't it saved my soul.
Hell yeah.
It really did.
Well, that's dope, man. Well, we ended with a blessing this time, man. Thanks everybody for stopping by. We're gonna cut it short right here at an hour, man, and that'll leave room for Leo to come next time, man. Drop some more knowledge.
I'll be back.
AppalachianRocks.com, man. Get you some stuff. I got Leo pieces on the desk right here, man. Much love for everybody.
If you want some rocks, I'm gonna go create a code right now. Look, before we get off, I'll go make it right now.
Okay.
And it's gonna be First City is gonna be the name of the code. And if anybody puts that code in whenever they check out, they are going to get 5% off, as well as a free gift, and or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 free gifts. So if anybody does this, you might be surprised at what comes in the mail. I'll just say that.
Oh yeah, I've been surprised before, man. All right, I love you guys, man. It's been a great show.
Thank you so much,
we did it again. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
And it was great seeing
Thanks
you,
a lot.
Jake.
Yeah, man. I'll see you guys. I'll see you next week, Saturday. Leo, I'll see you when I see you. I love you guys, man.
Oh, I love y'all so much.
Love you, Autry. Later.
Love you, Autry. Love you, old Skeet.